Then I did something which I couldn't replicate to this day. I let go of my breath. It was at this exact moment that the universe reveals itself. Hello, whoever's watching. You're here because you feel like there's something more to life than what meets the eye. There's nothing new about what I'm about to say. Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, and all the rest pointed out the same thing in their own way. What I'm offering is my personal journey of how I discovered the same thing. This topic is always full of abstractions and riddles. It's frustrating because words really can't describe it, but I'll try my best. Well, I hope this finds you when you need it most. Because you see, the nature of reality tends to reveal itself during your lowest point, literally when you cease to be you. And what's revealed is that the meaning of life is to be authentic to the self. The nature of existence is one. What does that actually mean? Let's start here. Alan Watts once said that spiritual and religious leaders are tricksters in the most benevolent sense. They offer paths to find meaning and purpose, but the good ones are fully aware of the futility of it all. The entire scheme of the spiritual trickster is that they get you to believe very strongly that if you do certain things in a certain way, you'll achieve enlightenment at the end of it. So the follower devotes a lifetime to discipline, rituals, prayer, or whatever path they set out on. A lifetime of sacrifice, only to be crushed by despair at the end when the follower finds out that there's nothing at the end of the journey. It's at that point of peak despair that enlightenment, awakening, moksha, nirvana, whatever you want to call it, may occur. The good news, we all eventually get there, especially if not trying to. You won't question if you had the experience. It's not subtle. It's a euphoric sensation beyond the constraints of the human vessel. I experienced this in my own life. As unlikely as it sounds, the path I chose was the average life and career. It turns out, all paths lead to the same destination. Monastery or cubicle, same results. I was normal. Go to school, do well, get a job, start a business, buy a house, get married, have kids, retire, pass away peacefully. That's what everyone else around me was doing, so why not? I didn't know it at the time, but I never really had a strong sense of self. I just wanted to flow, winged every step along the way. It worked out pretty well, all except for relationships. A pivotal part of my life was staying in a relationship where I made more and more compromises to maintain the peace, until one day I no longer had a voice. It started out with small sacrifices, giving up sports, limiting time with friends, not eating out. The arguments were destructive. The core issues were never addressed. I held my tongue and chalked it up to emotional immaturity, which I thought would improve over time. But it never did. Eventually, I found myself not having any boundaries with the in-laws, not having any say with how my daughter was raised, being isolated from family and friends. It was bad. I tried relentlessly to fix the issue. Dozens of books, podcasts, and suggestions for therapy, which were never well received. In fact, aggressively dismissed. And then the breaking point. I was sitting on the edge of a bathtub, bathing my 1-year-old daughter with my ex-wife next to me. At this point, we had months of constant fighting. I was exhausted, physically and mentally, running on fumes. I was holding back tears. I just wanted to get through the night. Max saw that I was tearing up and demanded to know why. She gets really upset when I don't tell her, and even more explosive when I do. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, I had to tell her. I feel excluded from the family. I need you to prioritize me over your parents. Her response? Then get a divorce. It was the second time she threw that word around, and I wasn't having it. The next day, she took my daughter, her things, and left to her parents. The most hurtful thing was taking my daughter away. She was used as a tool to dismiss my concerns every time I brought up an issue. I had a lot of time to myself afterwards. I had a year to decide whether separation or reconciliation was the right way to go, so I turned to books. One day I came across Walking on Eggshells, Taking Your Life Back When Someone You Care About Has BPD. I had a therapist once ask me if I felt like I was walking on eggshells. The book shared the same title, so I dug into it. That book hit hard. It described my situation perfectly. I didn't know BPD was the thing. It also described my personality traits like an instruction manual. I didn't want to believe it, because the inevitable conclusion is that I had to give up everything I've worked for my entire life. I grappled with this for a long time. I didn't trust my own judgment because my perspective wasn't objective. I could be wrong. Even though the book told me not to, I suggested dialectical behavior therapy to the ex. When that blew up in my face, I knew it was over. I had to let go of my wife, my daughter, and everything we built. Otherwise, it'd be worse for everyone if I stayed. That weighed heavy on me. Complete devastation. It was the lowest point of my life. I felt like an empty shell of my former self. I was reduced to a biological machine, and all it did was generate thoughts of sadness, resentment, and anger. One night, I was alone in my bed in complete darkness. I was in a fasted state. I didn't have the appetite. To clear my mind, I started meditating. I had a decade of on and off experience with meditation through Kuladas's The Mind Illuminated. During meditation, you let bodily sensations and thoughts come and pass through you. Let it come, let it be, let it go. Deeper into the session, thoughts fade into the background until what's left is the sensation of the breath at the nose. It's a peaceful place to be. Then I did something which I couldn't replicate to this day. I let go of my breath. I remember thinking, if I let go of the breath, I'll die. It must have been the circumstances at the time that allowed me to let go completely. It was at this exact moment that the universe reveals itself. When you, as a person, cease to exist, what remains is always there, the universal consciousness. It's not a subtle thought or feeling. It will hit you like a train, and again, it's immensely euphoric. Imagine a delta between the lowest depths of despair and the best 10 out of 10 joy in your life, amplified by several orders of magnitude and limitless beyond your body. What was revealed was that love is the default state of existence. In this context, love is anything that unifies. The Greeks had a word for it, agape. The human experience is lived as a separate entity, interacting with everything else outside the skin. That's the illusion. The experience of reality is that we exist within a singular field of consciousness, not as separate entities. Like a wave in the ocean, you are it and it is you. For what it's worth, the dimension of universal consciousness had a curvature to it. Also, like a magnet in a field of electromagnetism, the field influences you and you influence the field. We are consciousness having a human experience. All of this emerges from consciousness. What is consciousness? Whatever it is that's aware of these words. At this point, my human mind was still able to process thoughts. I thought, why would I want to do anything else? In this dimension, I could re-experience all the yummy food I've had and relive all the best experiences in my life, and much more. As the human mind wanted more, the perspective of universal consciousness faded. Within hours, my baseline humanity was restored. The bliss faded, but in its place was inner peace. Inner peace is a sense of equanimity, the feeling that whatever happens, I'm all right with it. After that experience, things I would have taken personally become amusing rather than something to hold a grudge over. It doesn't mean that I gave up everything that makes me who I am. In fact, awakening fortified my sense of purpose. I left that experience with a strong sense that my life was meant to be lived to the best of my ability. To figure out exactly who I am, my personality, my talents, my goals, gravitate towards things that give me joy, shut off the things that hold me back from it. For reasons unknown to me, consciousness compels you to be the best version of yourself that you can be. It wants you to do that. That's our purpose, and that's enough for me. Always be authentic to the self. I've tried revisiting that experience, but the act of wanting to get there takes you further away from it. Triggering that experience requires the exact opposite, the complete submission and letting go of everything that's you. It's not a normal state of mind. Awakening is an accident. Meditation increases the rate of those accidents. Thankfully, I'm in a better place and I don't feel the need to go there. Ultimately, no matter which path we take, we all end up at the same place. I hope you found this helpful wherever you are in life. Much of human suffering is caused by the feeling of being separate from the universe. If you're ever in a rough place, remember, the meaning of life is to be authentic to the self. The nature of being is one. Peace out.